So happy Nintendo Switch 2 Day. It has officially been 8 years since we've seen hardware come out from Nintendo. This is like my OG Nintendo Switch here. Super pumped that the Switch 2 is here in person to obviously check out. So big thanks to Nintendo for sending this out. I was actually just in Japan in Super Nintendo World, so I am just flowing with Nintendo goodness. We will quickly get to this box. You can see right here, I've got the little bundle, the one with Mario Kart. So pricing wise, everyone knows it, the Switch 2 has obviously gotten more expensive. US, you're looking at $450 just for the console itself. Canadian, $629, and for this exact bundle, $500 US or $699 Canadian, obviously, plus tax for this exact bundle, which I think Mario Kart was the best game that I got to play on my initial hands-on. Let's get hands-on of this. So quickly, you can see that it is the same like OG colorway. We've got like the blue, the red. I wish there was like a launch color, maybe something with Mario Kart. That would have been cool. On the back, you see obviously Switch 2. Oh, it feels good to get this open. So obviously we have the display. So also gotten larger. So this is a 7.9 inch panel. And if we quickly compare the OG guy, this guy was 6.2 versus the 7.9. You can see how much the bezels have actually shrunk when I actually get this on, but you can see especially on the OG one, how thick and chunky the bezels were. Obviously you had the OLED model that was 7 inches, but weirdly enough, the new Switch is not an OLED screen. It looked good in my initial hands-on. I know that people would have loved to have seen that, but for the rest, we have the new little Joy-Cons. You can see that they've gotten slightly larger in size, and we know all about the problems with the OG Switch, like the controller drift, how bad these little Joy-Cons were. Nintendo hasn't actually confirmed what's inside of here. I'm sure there's gonna be like a ton of teardowns, but theoretically, this Joy-Con should be a lot better. As I start to play it more, I will report back, but yeah, I remember the horror stories about the Switch 1, the drift, how bad and how unresponsive these got, especially if you were using them. You usually have to buy like the Pro controller, but that is another story. They are also magnetic now. You can actually see the pins and they pretty much just slot into place. Super easy. They've got this little flick switch to disattach, but you just have to line that up. Snaps in, and they feel really secure. There's no weird wiggle once that they're in. That's something that I did really notice and tested out a lot on my initial hands-on. But for the rest of the box, quickly lifting this up, we've got my Mario Kart game, which I will scratch off to have that download code. We've got the HDMI cable, the little wrist straps, and this is also a little accessory where you can attach it to the controller to use the Joy-Cons as a mouse, which is another little option. Some of the games that I were playing, you could kind of like scoot along like this. I believe you were in like some sort of like chair. We'll definitely have to go through all of the games, and for the rest of the stuff, we've got the Joy-Con mount for a better gaming experience. So if you just quickly take the Joy-Cons off, snapping those off, same kind of thing, magnetic, clicks into place, and now you can use this almost like a controller. Still doesn't feel as comfortable as say like the Pro controller, but it is a better gaming experience if you like it like that. And last but not least, we've got the power cables in here. Box out of the way. Charging brick, USB-C, and then a USB-C cable. And last but not least, we've got the dock, which has also been redesigned. So it's all in black. You can kind of see Nintendo Switch 2 and some of the pass-through cable areas. You've got the USB-A on the side, and obviously your Switch controller is supposed to kind of dock in like this. I really wish this would have said like launch edition, maybe something cool like on the dock, just to showcase that you lined up for it, that you waited for it, but it is just the plain one. You will probably see this console like sell for the next 8 years maybe, this standard one. Not trying to claim that I know Nintendo's official release cycle, but probably like in a year to two, we'll probably see the Nintendo Switch 2 OLED. We'll probably see some limited edition ones, but quickly you can kind of see them side by side in comparison. OG, obviously this one is custom made, so this one is like custom orange. That's like a one of one, I like to say. And here we've got the new console itself. And I've also got some other goodies. So I've got the Pro controller, I've got the steering wheel, and I have the Switch 2 camera. So this is the one that I'm most interested about, and right behind me actually. But this is the accessory that I'm actually the most stoked to use, the GameCube controller, because now you can play GameCube games on your Switch 2. So I grew up playing the GameCube, like Super Smash Bros. Melee. Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, like those were the OG games I grew up on, so really stoked to play that. I was hunting for one in Japan, like this orange one. It just wasn't in good enough condition for my orange ball. Separate tangent story, but I'll quickly get this out. And interesting, kind of switching between the two. It feels obviously like very similar, but a bit more ergonomic. I feel like the footprint is also slightly smaller than the OG, so maybe a bit better to fit in the hand. You've got some triggers on the back. Obviously, you've got all your triggers on the corners up top, and then the just classic XABY. Analog sticks feel a bit better. I think these will last a bit longer, and then of course the D-pad, and then you've got like some of the custom controllers. You've got obviously that camera button, which is the last thing that I just want to open for this video. Cut. So this is actually the first time I'm gonna see this or get this hands on. Interesting, okay, so you can imagine this will be placed down like on your TV somewhere. So if you're playing like Mario Kart with friends, you can get on camera talk smack that you beat them at the latest like Rainbow Road, which I also did that ride in Japan. Super cool, you should definitely check that out. But that is the Nintendo Switch 2. Very quick unboxing. I will just power on my console so I can download Mario Kart. And you can see the initial start up here for the first time. Ooh. Some cute little background music there. Get that on the microphone. Nintendo music, always so iconic. But one last thing before we end off this video, the storage on the new Switch 2. So that's been improved. It's 256 gigs now, which I still think is a bit on the low end. I definitely still recommend getting a micro SD card, not only to save your files, but in case you want more storage. So these are the new Play Pro cards from Lexar. I kind of swear by Lexar cards. I think even in my OG Switch, I actually just remembered I've been playing my Switch Lite, which is the limited edition like Zelda one. I have the OG, this is just their standard Play card, so also a terabyte, but now the Play Pro card has been improved with faster read and write speeds. It's 900 megabits per second read and 600 megabits per second write speed, so one of the quickest cards that you can officially get on the market. Grab one, you kind of insert it, and then you never need to worry about it. All right, so finally logging into my account, and this is hopping on into the homepage for the first time. So obviously I've mentioned this before, even though this is an LCD screen, it still looks like really good. It's like an improved LCD tech. I don't think you needed to go OLED, obviously would be nice, but it looks great to just play handheld. I'm going to install Mario Kart now for my first game, so if you want to see more coverage of the Switch, make sure you're subbed. Maybe I can give away like an extra game code if I have some. Hope you guys enjoy your Switch. Play a lot, add me, and we can rock some Mario Kart, and I'll catch you in one of my next vids. Peace.